Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Carroll and today I'll be talking to you about ggeasy, which provides easy access to ggplot2 commands. I love ggplot. I think it's a fantastic implementation of the grammar of graphics. I think it's really been transformative for bringing visualizations of data to R, and I think it's helped countless users craft their visualizations and really help tell the story of their data. The default theme that ggplot uses is reasonable. There's nothing bad about it, but you probably want to make some changes to it. In this example, I'm plotting the empty cars dataset, plotting the mpg variable on the x-axis, the hp variable on the y-axis, and using a point geom and a smooth geom. The theme that's used here has a grey background, plain text, nothing too crazy, fairly simple, fairly reasonable. Themes in ggplot are a powerful way to change the non-data components of a plot. Text, fonts, backgrounds, grid lines, legends, things like that. Things that don't go into the aesthetics term. And there are lots of arguments. It's very flexible. The theme command itself, the formal arguments, are these, plus these, plus these. There's lots of flexibility because it's so powerful and you can change any of these components. Of course, you wouldn't change those components manually. There are shortcuts that you can use, such as theme BW. Adding this to a ggplot command removes the grey background and makes it more black and white. You can even go one step further and use theme minimal, or you can use any of the inbuilt options, light, dark, classic, things that change the way the theme works without having to set all of the individual components. Of course, you can create your own. For example, the BBC have created theirs, as has the Financial Times. And if you work in an organisation that uses ggplot, you can create a new theme that matches your aesthetics. This isn't as simple as you could hope for, but it is just setting different arguments of the theme command. Themes can stack together, so in this case, theme BW is just theme grey with some additional settings. One thing to note is that to remove an element, you use element blank in the theme argument. So theme BW is just theme grey with some additional changes. One thing I love about ggplot arguments is that these are hierarchical. This means that axis text something something inherits from axis text something, which inherits from axis text, which inherits from text. So if I was to just change axis text, everything below it in that hierarchy would also be changed. But there are too many of these to remember all of them, including all of the hierarchy. Plus, once you do use one of those arguments, you need to remember to set it to an element text object, which itself has other arguments. This is very powerful, but it does become somewhat complicated to use. That's great for programmers, but I thought computers were supposed to make life easier for the users. So enter ggeasy. Here is the cartoon we have at the top of our README, in which a proficient R user is asked to enter a theme command without Googling to disarm a bomb. It does not go well. The motivation of ggeasy is similar to the fact that we have theme BW. It's a shortcut to make life easier so that you don't have to set all the arguments yourself. Let's consider a common scenario. I want to rotate the x-axis labels of a plot to diagonal. In this case, I'm plotting the iris dataset with a box plot of petal width, grouped by species. If I want to change these axis labels to be diagonal, the proper way is with the theme command, setting the axis.text.x to an element text object with an angle of 45. Of course, this isn't quite perfect because these are centered. We also need to add a horizontal justification, or hjust, with the value 1. I forget what this value is every single time and need to Google it myself. So how could we make this easier? We could take what we want to change, the labels, which of them we want to change, the angle we want to change it to, and the side we want to align to. So we have easy rotate labels. The which argument could be either the X, the Y, or both, and we could align to either the left, the middle, or the right. The ggeasy version of this then looks like easy rotate labels, X to 45 degrees, aligned to the right. And we get the same thing that we got with the theme command. We can go one step further and put the X of which one we want to change into the function name itself. This helps with autocomplete when you know that you want to rotate the X labels. We also have rotate Y labels. So in this case, setting rotate X labels to angle 45 aligned to the right, we get what we want. We have many functions in ggeasy. There is also some duplication here just to make autocomplete easier. One common use case that is often Googled is to move the legend to the bottom. So we create a nice natural language way to do that. Also, if I wanted to set the text size to 16 and set the text color to red, we have an easy functions to do that. If you're not a fan of this spelling, we also have this one. And if you only wanted to set a particular element, you can set it specifically. I like to think that people who drive an automatic transmission vehicle should sometime learn how a manual transition works. In that vein, we have the teach argument which can be supplied to any ggeasy function. That will still produce the plot you want, but it will give you the full theme command that you should use if you wanted to go about it properly. I'd like to thank the developers who have worked on this package, in particular Alicia and Jonathan, who have been helping with the core of this package. We've also had submissions from other people who have helped contribute. We're driven by users' needs. We have a PR that's still to be merged about changing the grid lines, and another about changing the facet strips. But we're driven by what you find difficult to do. So in summary, theme is very sophisticated, but hard to remember. ggeasy provides shortcuts to common actions that are autocomplete friendly. ggeasy is hosted on CRAN and RUniverse, and we encourage you to check out our repo. Thank you everyone.